Welcome back, everybody. There's a common phrase that 9 out of every 10 startups fail, and the percentage might actually be higher than that. And there's a variety of reasons why a startup will fail, and today I want to highlight the top 3 reasons that startups fail. This is a subjective list. There has been some research done, one study in particular that's pretty good and cited a lot online, and I'm combining some of that research along with my personal findings through my startup Vade. I'm going to link my video on Vade down below because you might want some context on that for the references I make. I'll also link down below the articles I used in researching this video, but without further ado, here are the subjectively top 3 reasons that startups fail. Reason number 1 is the market. Getting the right product market fit is not easy. You need to be making the right product for the right people at the right time. And if you miss any of those points, your startup probably won't succeed. Fortunately, there are some ways to combat this issue. The easiest way to go about that is to simply talk to the potential customers. It's easy to have a product sound good in theory, especially if it solves the problem for you or maybe for your friends and the people you know, but solving a problem for an entire market is a whole different story. With Vade, this came down to actually identifying the main pain points in parking. It's a very intricate system, and when you look at drivers, is the issue finding parking, or is it paying parking, or paying the tickets, or extending your time? And for suppliers of spots like governments and institutions, is it having users find the parking, or is it having them pay for it, or is it actually enforcing the spots and the laws, or is it just not enough data? There's a lot of issues at hand, and finding the most important ones has been a huge focus of ours. And for us specifically, even talking to the potential clients is not an easy task. Like when you're talking about governments and big enterprises, there aren't just the right people just available at all times to prod their brain and to figure out what their exact pain points are. So utilizing the connections we have to talk to the right people, or as close to the right people as we can, has been really important for us. Reason number 2 is the business model. So it's right up there with the product. The business model is a complicated thing and there's a lot of ways it could go wrong. I'm going to highlight just a couple of features of it. The first of which is customer acquisition. It's very easy to underestimate the difficulty of acquiring a customer. It might make sense and be good in theory that, oh, these people will just buy the product and then once we have the customers, the business will work. But then you have to factor in things like there's sales cycles and there's budgets for governments and there's contracts and there's periods where you have to wait. They already are working with companies. There's a lot more that goes into acquiring customers than it might appear at first. It's also easy to overestimate how easy it is to grow. There are a ton of problems that will come when you grow that you just simply can't predict before actually growing and experiencing them. My favorite example of this is Airbnb. When they actually started to pick up traction and grow, they were so busy just making the platform not crash that they were having to turn investors down at the door, except for those that could help them make the platform not crash. And as a personal example, when it comes to customer acquisition, it wasn't until I pitched Vade to a mentor did I learn that it would take years and a lot of paperwork to actually get an enterprise client or a government client. And then from a growth perspective, there are a lot of numbers, especially with costs, that are hard to predict. Like how many of the sensors in each spot will we have to replace per year, and how much more will software maintenance be with 10 million beacons instead of just 1 million beacons, or even 500,000 beacons, or 10,000. Knowing those numbers is very difficult before actually having some data to base it off of, but having some sort of estimation is very important. Reason number 3 is the team. When you look at applications for like Y Combinator and other accelerators and VCs, half the questions are going to be about the team, because in the end, it's the team that makes the product or the company actually succeed or fail. And even when startups do succeed and are worth a ton of money, you see falling outs all the time in the news. And the worst part is there's no real easy way to avoid this. As a startup operates, and especially when it grows, the tension comes from unpredictable places. It might be a disagreement over a single feature, could be a disagreement over the general direction of the company, or a disagreement not associated with the company at all, but still led to a falling out and a lot of issues. Fortunately for Vade, the team has been great so far. We haven't had any issues, but even when it's smooth sailing with 5 co-founders, it's difficult just to balance 5 different opinions and perspectives all at once. And again, there's no real way to combat any issues from happening in the future. All we can do is just keep in mind that having good synergy is important and minimizing any conflicts if they do arise. That's it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below and let me know how you like the video. I was thinking for the next couple of videos doing one on pitching your startup and one on how to split equity and just splitting equity in general. Let me know what you think of those 2 ideas. If you want to see either one first or don't want to see one of them, let me know in the comments down below. I'll be down there for a few hours. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more content. And as always, stay classy.